Hey y'all, Marion here with Paper Wizard PKC. Today we are embarking on our first edition of Masterclass with Marion and the Meet Me on Main Street January PKC main kit. This kit has so many details that make Main Street what it is, and we're going to have lots of fun putting together the train station, the theater, the fire station, and more. A couple of quick notes though before we get started. First, there are several places where you do not want to put adhesive. For example, the iron rods on top of the train station. So if you like to put your pieces through a sticker maker, you're going to want to be careful on which pieces you do that with. And of course, I will be pointing those out in the videos showing you which ones you don't want to do that to. Number two, if you'd like to take a closer look at these pieces, you can log on to Paper Wizard PKC Facebook group, click on Media, Albums, and then PKC 2026 Kits. And you'll find these kits there, and you can zoom in and look at things a little closer if you'd like. I find it helpful sometimes to see placements of some of the smaller pieces and where they go. And lastly, in these videos, we are just putting together the title and the embellishments. The instructions for the page assembly are in your kit, and I have no qualms in the world that you can finish up everything on your own once we get all of this put together. So, are you ready to get started? Let's go. Okay, let's get started. So again, this is the Paper Wizard PKC main kit. It's Meet Me on Main Street, January 2026. In your kit, you're going to get quite a few things. Of course, you're going to get all your papers to put everything together. Then you're going to get all your pieces. So this is the title piece. This is the train station. This is the theater, the fire station, and then this is the 2 lampposts and mouse friends, also some extra pieces that will go on your layout that I won't be talking about in the videos today. All right, a couple other things that you're going to need, of course, that came in your kit. You have the instructions, and you have a great pictured printout of how the layered pieces go together on the 3 main things. Okay. All right, and then a few things that you're going to need that don't come in the kit, of course, is your adhesives, whatever adhesives that you choose. I choose to use a tape runner on certain things and a liquid glue on other things, and some tweezers. And if you're really fancy, you might want to get some wipes for your hands. If you're like me and have oily fingers, sometimes the laser dust gets on my fingers and then gets on the pieces. So I tend to wipe my fingers quite a bit. Okay, so let's get started with the title. Easiest piece we're going to do. It's great that we start with that. Okay, this is what it's going to look like when we finish. All right, so you're going to grab your title piece, open it up, and we want to pull that out upside down, or at least this is how I do it, and I'm going to flip all the pieces over. So there's one. Now when you get to this piece actually is for when you're putting your layout together. It's not needed for this piece, so I'm going to put that right back in my plastic bag so it stays nice and neat, and then I'm going to put that over with my other things. Okay, then we have the rest of the pieces right here. So this is going to be simple, easy, put together. So you have your red base, then you're going to do your silver, or excuse me, white shimmer. And that's going to go right in the middle. Okay, then you have your black glitter piece. And again, centered right on that white piece and actually covers everything up. And that is done just so you have those nice white backgrounds for when you put your Meet Me on Main Street main title piece on. So this is going to go right on the top. And I'm using the liquid glue here because it is going on glitter, and my tape runner that I use doesn't particularly like glitter, so I'm using the liquid. You might have a better tape runner that works. All right, and there you have it. Easy peasy. Love that one. Goes together so quickly. All right, so now we're going to turn to the train station. Okay, this is what it looks like when we're finished. Lots of awesome details, lots of great layers. And then you will notice, I'm going to turn this up real quick. I did use the thin dots, 3D dots, to put that top piece on so that it lays flat. You don't have to do that, but I did use that there. All right, so let's start with, your page. Okay, so this is what we're working on right here. This specifically shows you each piece. I'm going to give you a larger look real quick. Okay, so this is how it goes together. We're actually going to just build it right from the top down to the bottom. And then the back. And I'll bring these back as we start working on the different layers. So grab your package, and I'm going to open this up. And again, I'm going to very gently pull all of this out. And then we're going to flip everything over. And we kind of line it up. And the way that we're going to put it together, it makes it a little easier. So there's that. Now, because I'm going to be gluing right in here, I'm going to put these other pieces over to the side. Lots of pieces. Okay, so I'm going to stop for a minute. Well, no, let's go ahead and take this one because this is what we have to do next. So now I'm going to stop momentarily because I'm running out of room. I'm just going to put these, and I'm going to put them upside down just right above me for right now because I'm running out of a room and I don't want to get anything mixed up. Okay, so we're going to start with the base pieces. There's 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I mentioned in the opening that there are some pieces that you do not want to put adhesive on. Okay, so this is going to be one of these pieces. You don't want to get any adhesive on any of these wrought iron spires, okay, because if they get tacked onto anything, they're just going to come right off. So you want to be very careful with that. So let's start with this. You've got your black backer, then your white, and that's going to go centered right onto that black backer. Okay, and then your next piece is going to be this one with all the wrought iron. So when you pull that out of there, just be careful. So this is one that you're not going to want to run through a sticker maker, because these will just stay on your sticker maker and not go on your finished piece. So no adhesive on those. Okay, we're going to put that right on the top. And again, this is centered. And then you've got the gray piece. And I'm not at all worried about those pieces not being glued down, because when you put them in your scrapbook, they're going to be behind a memory protector, a page protector. So they will be just fine. Plus there's layers on top of it, so there's nothing that's just going to pop right down on that. Okay, so next we're going to go to the bottom of the building. Okay, that's this section right here. So you have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces to the bottom of the building. Okay, so we have those right here. Oh, almost did that upside down, so be really careful. You want those little hatch marks to be on the bottom. Okay. And then your silver windows come next. Now you'll see that there's a clock piece still in this silver, so you want to put that aside right for now. All right, so we're going to start by gluing this right on that base piece. Okay. The next piece is going to be the silver shimmer window strip. And again, just double check that you're putting that on the correct way. Oh, got some glue boogers. My adhesive's strong. This is another great tool if you don't like glue boogers. An adhesive eraser. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, so the red window strip is going to go next, which is right here. And again, you have another piece on this card that you're going to need later. So go ahead and pop that up with your other things. And we're going to put that down right there. All right, after that one, we're going to do the green window panes. Now these window panes are individual, okay? And we have an extra one for you, I believe, yeah. So when you pull these out, just be really careful because they are very thin. Now, if you want, you can turn these over, run your adhesive all the way across. If you want to do it like that, or you can adhere each individual piece. To it. I'm going to adhere each individual piece because I don't want all that extra glue. And honestly, I'm only adhering the center piece because again, things are going to be on top of it and it's adhered down and it'll be flat. ahead and pull that one since it was trying to get out there. And once we get this done, we're going to go on to the silver shimmer outline. Got a little piece of glue on the top there. It dries clear though, so that's the good thing. And this is why I suggested tweezers. Some people can handle these little things with their fingers. I think that's amazing. I cannot. I am, I guess, too clumsy. And you'll have one extra pane just in case you need it for later, or, well, not for later. You won't need it for later, but just in case you happen to have torn one of those window panes. Oh, crooked. All right, so then we're going to take the silver piece and we're going to put that right on around the outline. And that's going to go right on there. Okay, so the next section we're going to do is the bottom railing section. Okay, and that is going to be all of these pieces right here. Again, places where you don't want to put adhesive on those top spires there, and be really careful with your lamp posts. All right, so we're going to grab that. That comes later. Okay. So I'm going to start with the dark bronze railing piece. That's right here. Okay. And then we're going to take the bottom. Whoops. Well, you know what? It would help if I got the base piece out. Okay. Sorry. So grab your base piece. Again, be careful. You don't want those lamps coming off. Okay. So I'm going to start with the bronze piece here. Okay, bronze piece, bottom shimmer brick layer, which apparently is still up in my little stack here. So my apologies, I did not grab it out of the stack. This is the bottom brick layer piece. that on right on the bottom. And you can line it up because you have those little bricks that stand out at the end. Okay, so the bottom white strip, ooh, it's already fallen out, is this piece right here. And again, you can see where it goes because it has those little jut outs for the top of it's a very delicate piece. And make sure that you're getting it on the right side because there is a cutout that gives a little dimension to the railing piece. So it looks like it's 3D kind of. Okay. Next, we're going to do the top orange bronze layer, which again, apparently I didn't pull. I've got the two bronze. Oh, I already put that on. Top orange bronze layer. And then we've got these two small. You know what? I think I'm going to try this differently. Do this a little differently here. I think I'm going to use my runner and just pop them like that because they are thin pieces. So if you do that, just be careful when you're pulling it out. All right, and then you'll see on this bronze layer, there is a little gap between the laser lines. And that's where the top one goes. And then the bottom one goes right at the bottom. Oh, I've lost a couple light bulbs. Okay, bottom right there. I'll fix that. Okay. Give you another tip. Don't put lotion on before you start this. I put a little lotion on and that did not work well. Okay, now we're going to put this on right here. This is where I put the mini dots or the micro dots. And I'm just going to put a few here. You all can definitely do that if you'd like, but this just keeps it from bending. Put one right beside on my backer to help with that. Okay. Well, that one didn't want to come off. There we go. Okay. And that's going to go right on. I'm going to move this down just a little bit so I can lean in. Right on the bottom piece. And again, you'll see there's little jut outs on each side that show you exactly where to put those on. All right, so now let's work on the top of the building. So now we need to pull all these other wonderful things out. Okay. If you didn't have them out already, because you're going to be using all of these pieces. So pull these out, and then I'm going to show you the layering here in 1 second. Be careful, you do have that clear piece, of course, for your windows, so don't lose that. And then all these beautiful ornate pieces. Oh my gosh, I just think these are gorgeous. Okay. All right, there's all your pieces. So this is what it looks like as we layer. Okay, so you have that clear piece that's going to go behind. Then you have the silvers, the blue, on and on and on. Okay, so this is how we're going to layer it. All right, so let's get started. We're going to glue the clear strip behind, of course, this section. Oops, and I have some little hanging pieces there. Just pop those right out. Okay, so this piece is going to go right behind these windows. Now for this, definitely, and I didn't mention earlier, but I try most of the time to put my adhesive on the back of whatever I'm putting down, but especially with this, because you don't want your adhesive to get in the windows and muddy up your windows. Okay, so you're going to put the clear on the back of that. And now we're going to add the following. So we're going to start with the light blue square windows. Okay, so now when you grab this, you'll notice there's an L and an R for left and right of where these need to go. So we're going to start with these pieces here and make sure that you're putting them on the way that they should be going, because it matters later with where your blue is hitting. Okay, because you'll notice on these there's a little more left on this side than there is on this side. Okay, so you want to be careful doing that. You're going to put those right on top of those windows. Whoops. Now the middle red window piece, and that was in your red card that we pulled some things from a little earlier. And that's going to go right in the center right here. And you're just, of course, going to center it right on that window. So it's perfect. Now the white etched window pane strip. So this beautiful strip right here is going to go right on top. Again, you've got some ornate pieces there, so be careful with where you're putting your adhesive. And that's going to go right over top of all of the windows. All right, glue. So you've got, well, my glue's wanting to make it slip. Okay, so next we're going to do the light blue side windows. And those are right here. And once again, it gives you the left and the right. So remember that. pieces off. I got my piece off just a little bit. The hazards of liquid glue. Y'all, I didn't used to use liquid glue at all. So I'm still in the learning phase of too much or too little liquid glue. All right, so we've got those light blue windows. Now we're going to do the white top strips and then the side window panes. All right, so the top strips are right here. So you want to take these out. Again, be very careful pulling these out so that they don't get damaged. And then you'll see exactly where they're supposed to go because they have that little lift that goes right above the window. And that's going to go right on there. So you have it set up to exactly where those little pieces are that show you. All right, and then the other, same thing. And we're going to put that strip right on the left-hand side. And then we're going to do the side window panes. Now, again, when you look at this, you can see there's a right and a left for the tops. And then after this, we're going to start on the train station sign. Okay, whoops, got her crooked. Okay, all right, so the train station side, you've got these green card, and then over here you also have this white piece that of course is going to help fill in your pieces. So you start with the solid green piece, and that's going to go underneath your train station sign, or the white piece of the train station sign. Okay, and again, you want to make sure you're checking which way this is going. It's easily to get these upside down or turned around backwards. So you want the larger O, if you will, because that is the inside of the O, to be on the right side. And then you're going to put that green piece right underneath it. That's going to fill in your letters, as always, everything complete. And then you're going to pull the train station sign out of the card. And again, carefully. If you have any letters left in there, they're very tiny, but you can still kind of pop them out. I had a little S in mine. And then we're going to adhere that to the top and line up your letters. pick this up to do that. All right, it says train station. Fantastic. Okay, and then we're going to put that right in the center below the center window. And then we're going to do the clock top, and we'll be getting everything together. Okay, so this piece we're going to put to the backer now. You can see it's going to go right on top of that red. Okay, so it fits right on top of that red, and then everything lines up perfectly. All right, let's finish up this clock. Okay, so we have several pieces to the clock. Okay, first you've got 6 black circles. You only need 1. And give you a few extras. All right, and then you have the silver shimmer clock backing. Okay, so one of these, turn this over. Turn your silver shimmer over so it's upside down. Take one of your black dots, and that's going to go right behind the clock face. And then you're going to turn that back over. And then we're going to go with the white etched big clock piece right here. It's going to go right on top. Again, these little spires that are here, just be very careful about putting adhesive on them. And actually, I would suggest that you don't put adhesive on them at all. Okay, there's the white etch clock. Now we get the teal piece. It's going to go right there, perfectly lined up around that clock face. And then last but definitely not least, the white etched center. And you're just going to have that straight to the bottom, and then of course centered around the clock face. All right, last piece to put on this beautiful. All right, let's go on to the theater. So this is what the finished product looks like. Okay, this is your package that you're going to be grabbing from. And here are the pieces. So I'm going to go through this real quick before we open it up, the bag. So you've got your main part, backers, the front. This is the, excuse me, the bottom of the building section, the now showing sign, and the top of the building section. So that's our piece parts that we're going to be working with. So let's go ahead and pull everything out of the backer. Now this backer is one that you can trim down with your scissors if you can't get your fingers in there. But it's not too awfully long at the end, so you don't really need to per se. All right, let's get everything laid out. So we have it all ready to go. Now be careful, you do have a clear piece for your windows. and some smaller pieces in there as well. Okay, move these up just a little bit so you can see more of what I'm doing here. Okay, so we're going to start with gluing the backers. So, of course, the white goes onto the black. Now, you notice I didn't put any glue on the top part. You can with this one, but I don't really think it's necessary. That's just going to be centered right on. Now, when you get to this piece, you'll see these little finials at the top. You don't want to put adhesive on the finials. You just want to put it on the main body of the building. And again, that's going to be centered right on top. So that's our first 3 pieces. So now we're going to go to the next section. Okay, the clear piece and then all of these. All right, so we're going to start by grabbing the light silver piece. You want to turn this over, and we're going to attach the windows to the back side. All right, and then turn that back over and put it right on the backer. And that's going to fit on pretty much right to left to the black backer. Excuse me. Next, we're going to put on the darker silver with the etching. And it's going to go straight on top of that light silver piece. All right, then we're going to start with the white window panes. So those are in this card right here. Now you'll notice that there's etching on one side, not on the other. So make sure when you're putting those window panes in that you put the etching side up. And those are going to fit right around those windows. And when we get these on, we're going to go with the white window curtains. One more. All right, so now the white window curtains. Okay, y'all, if you're old like me, what does this remind you of? I think they look like Pac-Man. Who's with me? I just think that's so cute. And those fit right in that little spot.
One more, and then next we're gonna go with the red curtains. Excuse me. Okay, now be careful, these are a little delicate. So you don't want to pull them too hard. And they're going to fit right on top, of course, of the white curtain piece. Whoops, scooch over. Last one. And then we're going to grab this little white glitter piece here, and that is going to go in between the middle windows. And you want to line the bottom of this up with the second line. And we've got a small red dotted piece for the marquee part. That's going to go right on top of that. Well, there we go. All right, next is going to be these pieces right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a few more right here. So lots of backers. We're going to start with the white shimmer piece. Well, or light silver. Light silver. It's going to go directly on the bottom of that. Then the light shimmer gold piece, which is in this card right here. And again, that's going to fit right on top of that light silver piece. Now we're going to do the brown bottom. Okay, that's this one right here. Oops. Have a little bit of... Oh, I turned that over wrong. Okay, make sure you have it right side up. I had mine turned over wrong. Although I think it would almost fit the same. You just wouldn't have the textured part. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to do the dark blue bottom outline. Okay, when you pull this out of the card, again, be careful. The lines are a little thin. They come out of the card very easily though, so it's not too hard to be careful. All right, and I don't know if you noticed, I don't put glue on every single little line when they're little like this, just because once you have enough glue on the outsides and a little dot here or there, you really don't need the whole thing glued. Now we're going to go with the light gold shimmer pole. So this is hiding right up here on this card. And the top of this circle is going to be right at the top of the blue and then centered in that middle section there. Light gold shimmer pole. Lost my light gold shimmer pole. Oh, geez Louise, I put that on already. I just, okay, brown door arches are next. I was like, what is happening here? Okay. All right, brown arches. Ooh. Holy moles. Okay. All right, and that's going to go right in the center over the gold pole and on either side. Now we're going to do the bottom bottom silver shimmer brick strips. All right, so when you look at this, you'll notice, let me move that so you can see it. There is, oh, is it letting me see it? Okay, there is a right and a left, so make sure that you're putting those down on the appropriate sides. And make sure that your etching is to the front. And they're going to fit just right over the very bottom piece. And then we're going to attach this to the backer once we have this on. Whoops. Now, I just said that we're going to attach this to the backer. So the funny thing is, I built mine on the backer. So you can do it either way. You can either build it and then attach it to the backer, or you can build it right on the backer. All right, so now we're going to do the now showing sign. Okay, it looks like this. You got that black piece that's going to go behind this white piece, and then we're going to build the other. So 1, 2, 3, 5 pieces there. So you're got these 2 pieces. Here's the black rectangle. Okay, that again is going to go behind this one, so you want to flip that over. And again, this is where I put glue on the backer, or excuse me, on the main piece versus what's going on it, because I don't want to get glue covering up my holes. All right, then you're going to flip that over. And then you're going to put the black piece on, and it's going to line up perfectly so you can see the now showing. Steamboat Willie. Yay. Okay, we're going to do the brown topper to the marquee. And lastly, we're going to do, let's see what they call it, the light gold. I'm not up on all the appropriate or correct paper colors, the names of them. That is light gold. And that's going to go over the entire marquee. And get everything lined up just perfectly. And then we're going to attach this to the backer. It is going to go right on top of the lower piece we just put on. All right, so let's build the top of the building. So all of the pieces we have left here, top of the building, 1, 2, 3, only 4 more pieces. And we're gonna build that, put that right on. So we're gonna start with the, make sure it's the white. And again, you don't want to put any glue on the finials of this because if you do, they're going to tack down. I'll put my tweezers on the wrong side. Okay. They're going to tack down onto that black and not be straight out. So you don't want to put any adhesive on there. And it's going to line up right at the very top. All right, next is the gold shimmer outline. Okay, and again, small strips. There you go. And when I put glue on this, I just put glue on the ends and then one little dot in each of the triangles. No, not triangles, diamonds, lordy. All right, and then these are going to go right over the windows, if you will. I'm not sure those are windows, quite honestly. I don't remember. I should know. Shame. Okay. Right there for you. And then we're going to do the, excuse me, the gold outline. And it's going to go right over top of that. And you're going to line up the top part. Whoops. So line that up with the white piece. And then lastly, we're going to do this light gold. And one more time, make sure your etching is on the front. It adds so much character to it. And that's going to go right on top. Whoops, I almost did it upside down, y'all. That's why you check twice before you put it down. And you'll see that it lines up just perfectly to where those X's were etched into the gold piece. All right, so there you have it. All right, we'll go on to the fire station. All right, let's go on to the fire station. Now, this is what it's going to look like when we finish up. So pretty. You have your package here. I'm going to show you the piece parts real quick. Okay, we're going to start with the back of the building, go to the front part of the building, and then we're going to work our way up from here. All right, so again, I'll bring those back in as we go along. So let's take all of our pieces out. And flip those over. Be careful, you do have a clear piece to put behind the windows and door. And some little pieces in there as well. Got some little silver bricks. All right, and then we have the backs. So of course we're going to start with the backer. Move this up a little. All right, so your white goes on the black backer. And that's just going to be centered right on there. Oh, glue booger. Okay. So we're going to put that right in the center. And then we're going to do the building piece. Now, when you go to adhere this building piece and put adhesive on it, again, make sure you're not putting adhesive on this piece. I wouldn't on this piece, or even that piece as well, the bell. I would not put adhesive on those. Put a little bit on the top of the bell tower, between the bell and that upper piece. All right, so we have the back part. Now we're going to take this red front of the building. Before we do anything with it, we're going to flip. It's going to go on like this. We're going to flip that over, and we're going to put this, our glass, in our windows. And again, this is when I put adhesive around and on the back of the piece where things are going, versus trying to put it on the actual piece. And then go ahead and put your adhesive on. Again, I wouldn't do that top tower piece. Flip that over, and you're going to put it right on top of the black part of the building. And it's going to fit right on there. And I have a little glue right there. Whoops. I made the bell swing. Don't want to do that. Just be careful with the bell. Okay. All right. So next we're going to go and work on the doors. Okay. So we're going to grab the gray door piece. On your instructions, it calls it the bottom of the building section. Okay, that gray piece is going to go fit perfectly, of course, right in. I got them a little crooked. Don't want to have crooked doors. Okay, right in there. So we start with that. Then we're going to grab these 4 dark gray bronze pieces and the rectangle. Now again, when you pull these out, just be very careful. And those are going to go right on. You're going to put each one of them between the etched openings. Oops. Went a little heavy on the glue there. Two on the right, 2 on the left. And be careful when you pull those out because you can make them go crooked, unless you want crooked hinges on your door. Okay, I'm going to put the 2 on the right now. And then after this last one here, we're going to take that rectangle and it's going to go near the bottom section of the firehouse or fire station. Got that up just a little too far. Okay, so then there's this little rectangle right here. And it's going to fit right there. Oh, you know what I forgot? Y'all, I swear. I forgot my red pieces. Again, you're probably ahead of me. You are probably already ahead of me. These just blend right into my things, and I wasn't looking at the instructions, so my bad. So sorry. So we're going to put these on right here. And honestly, we need these because that way you're going to know where to grab the, where to put this little piece I was getting ready to put down. Okay, just make sure you've got those upright and in the right way for your little extra side red pieces. I almost messed you up again. But that's what I get for not reading the directions over each time. My apologies. Okay. And then we've got this particular one, the, I guess, medium rectangle. You're not going to use that until a little later. And then we've got these 2 smaller rectangles. And they are going to go right where you have these little jut outs on the side. I'm going to bring that up to you. See, there's one right here and one right here. That's where those are going to go. And they're just going to go right straight on there. And then we're going to take this fun little gray piece that I was just talking about, and it goes right underneath the bottom smaller red rectangle. To fill that spot right there. Okay, now back to the door. Back to the doors. All right, so we put in the main large door and then the small, smaller pieces. And now we're going to do the light gold shimmer arch and the pillars. Okay, so that is on this card right here. Your arch is going to be right in the center. And the pillars are going to be on each side of the main top there. Okay. And the arch is going to fit right over the large door. Okay, and then we're going to put the pillars on, and they go to each side of that arch. Centered up right on that red rectangle that we had. And make sure that you're putting your right and your left, well, no, they actually are looking the same. Forget that. Rewind. Rewind. Okay, so you have your arches. And pillars, and now we're going to do the bottom silver bricks and the green door outline. So silver bricks are here. Okay. Oh, that piece is little. My fingers aren't wanting to get it. Okay. And it goes, if you put it down correctly with the etched parts up, you're going to notice it's going to go down. Okay, so I'm going to suggest, honestly, that we put the green door on first. You can do it either way, but this door is going to give me an exact location of where to put those bricks. I'm not going to adhere it. I'm just going to put it down so I know where to put this right brick exactly. It's basically going to come out. You can see there's a little jut out right there. The end of that brick is going to go right to there. So you want the right side of the brick to be even with the way that that little, again, jut out for lack of a better term right now, even with that. Okay, then your center brick is going to go right on top of that, the bottom part of the pillar. Lines up just perfectly. And then your left bricks go on top of the bottom of the other pillar. And then we're going to put on that green door now. We're going to glue that down. And it goes right there, of course. You line it up so. Now be careful. There's a lot of etching on this door. It's not to take pieces out. It's actually just etching to show you what the door looks like. So don't pop any of those pieces out there. You want to leave those attached. Okay, so we have the green door on, and we are now going to the middle bell tower section. Okay, so that is this. Okay, we're going to start with this piece. And then these are going to go on top afterwards, okay? So let's start with this. Let me see the right name. Light gold shimmer window panes. And again, you've got a couple little pieces up there that go ahead and don't put adhesive on those. And then that's going to line up right on top of those window crosses. Now we're going to take the red rectangle that I said that you wouldn't need until a little later. That's going to go right on top. This piece, this gray piece, is then going to go on top of that. So you can do this one of two ways. If you want to make sure everything gets lined up correctly, you can actually put the red piece on the back, or you can just put the red piece down and then put the gray piece down. Like the instructions say, either work. As long as you have the red piece down first and then the gray piece on top of that. And you also want to make sure that you're putting it the right way up. So it's going to have the double openings on the right and left are going to be on the top. And then that's going to go right in the center underneath the windows. Okay, so we're going to now take the light gold shimmer rectangle. Whoops. My fingers are not wanting to work. Okay. And that's going to go right on top of that piece that we just put down. And you'll know which way to put that because they match up to those red windows just perfectly. All right, and then the next piece is going to be this gold. Let me see if they just call it gold. Yes, gold balcony. And this is going to go right like that. Now, this is a place that I did put some micro dots so that that wouldn't bend down. So you can put, I'm just going to put one, honestly, on each side. So it is even, or flat, I should say. So it's flat. You don't have to do that, of course. If you don't do that, then just don't put any adhesive. Okay, I'm going to back up a second. If you don't want to put, or you don't have micro dots, okay, or some 3D, just when you get ready to put this on, just don't put adhesive on these edges. Just put adhesive on the center, and that way it won't adhere and look like it's bent. Okay, so you can do it either way. And again, when you put this one on, make sure that your etchings are up. It just gives it that little bit more character there. See, and you have it like that. So it does have a little bit of lift to it if you use a micro dot. But again, if you don't use a micro dot, no worries. Just don't put adhesive on the right and left side so it's not glued completely down. Okay, and then we're going to go with this. What color do we call this? Light gold. Light gold. I should know this by now. Gold and light gold. Okay, we're going to take that, and that is going to go right on top. Maybe the next time, by the next time we use this, I'll know light gold. It makes sense. Okay. And then that's just going to line up right to exactly those lines. All right. So next we're going to do these top pieces, the bell towers. We're going to start with the gold bell tower. And that's going to go just right on top of there. And you have little X etches on there, etchings. So make sure that's on the top, facing you, and you glue it correctly. And then we're going to get the really pretty light gold fancy outlines of the bell tower. And that's going to go right on top, and you'll see why I said to make sure your X etchings are up, because that comes right through like on the other pieces we've done. All right, so we're on to the very last parts of this. We've got this side tower and the topper. All right, so we're going to start with the gold tower. And that's going to go right in the center from right to left on that right side, and right up against there we go. Right up against that small red rectangle piece. Okay, so it's going to go straight up. If it's easier for you, think of this. Put that, the point of that should point straight up to the wind vane. Is that what it's called, right? It should point straight up to that. All right, and next we're going to put the light gold piece on. And then that again is centered right on top of that piece. And then we're going to do the top. Oh, well, we've got to do the balcony first. I'm just getting a little laser dust off my fingers. Okay. Now we're going to do the balcony. Very delicate piece. It's beautiful. Looks just like a wrought iron balcony. And you're going to want that straight over. Oh, I put too much adhesive on it. Okay, straight over from this balcony. Now you can see I put too much adhesive. if you really just want to put adhesive in the middle there, because again, you don't want this adhesive right on this side or this side. So if there happens to be any weight, it'll bend it down. So that's the way it should look. Can you see that? Okay. Hopefully you can see it. I'm not sure. All right. And then we're going to go with our last two pieces. And these are the rooftop, starting with the light gold. And it's going to go right on top of that. And then the gray piece. And we are finished. As soon as this gray piece gets put on, the fire station is done. So then we just have a couple more small things to do. So there you have it, the fire station. Yay! All right, so the last two things we have are the lamp posts and the Mickey, or excuse me, Steamboat Willie, the Steamboat Willie. Okay, so we're going to start with the lamp posts. So we're going to pull everything out. Now, there are some pieces in here that you are not going to use for this. So I'm going to pull everything out, and then I'm going to tell you this yellow piece, these two flags, and these little tiny flags here, the polka dotted flags, and the striped photo corners. We're not going to use those. So I'm going to put those right back in my bag. These will be used when you put your pages together during the assembly. So I'm going to put those back in the bag so they don't get lost. Okay. All right. Then we get down to the nitty gritty stuff. So you have oh my gosh, my fingers aren't working. Okay. So you have the lamp posts, 2 black and 2 green. You've got clear glass for the lamp posts. Okay, and then you've got some little pieces. So you want to pull those out as well. And then the wicks. And then we're going to get to this part where the Steamboat Willie starts. I'm going to put him off to the side right now because we want to start with the lamp posts. Now, both lamp posts are going to look like this. They look so real. Just amazing. Just amazing. Okay, now you'd think we're going to start with the black, but we're not. We're going to start with these green pieces. So you've got the 2 dark green pieces. Lay them out right side up for just a minute. And then you've got these 2 lighter green pieces. These are actually going to go on the back of these. So we want to turn these lamp posts over to the back. And these are going to go. Now you'll also notice with these small green pieces, they are not exactly rectangles. They're a little wider on the bottom than they are on the top. Okay. These are going to go right here. And you want the wide part on the bottom. Okay. And then I'm just going to put a little adhesive on the very top. Oh, my glue stuck. Okay. On the front, very top and very bottom. And that's all the adhesive that you need. And that adhesive then is going to adhere right to the lamp posts without having too much overspill. Okay, so I'll show you. Turn that over, add a little bit that you can see, but it's going to dry clear. Then we're going to do the same thing with the other one. Again, paying attention to the wider bottom. Little glue on the top, oops, and on the bottom front of that piece, and then turn it and glue it right on top. Glue it right to the back of that. Then you can flip them back over. And now you've got your backings for your green part of the light. So then we're going to put them on the black backers. So go ahead and pull those out, and they are both exactly the same. There's no right or left. So you don't have to worry about getting them mixed up. And I am not putting any adhesive on those outside edges, or not edges, the outside strip. If you have delicate fingers and can do that, it won't hurt it. But this is one, again, I don't know that I would put through a sticker maker because of those outside areas. Okay, so we've got those. Good start on that. All right, so now we're going to start gluing all of the different pieces. We're going to start with the silver shimmer lamp piece. Right on top of that green piece, they line up exactly. And then the other one. Well, they do line up exactly if you do it right. There we go. Okay, next is going to be the silver, or the glitter dome. Sorry, the white glitter domes. Okay, they look like a half moon. Those are going to go right where the dome is. I'm going to put one of these to the side so you can see it. There we go. Just in case that helps. Then we're going to do the mirror lamp top knob. Okay, that's this piece, these two tiny little pieces right here. And then, oh, okay. And then the dark brown wicks come next. And y'all, I am going to be totally transparent here. When I tried doing the first one, I wasn't looking at the pictures up close. And I put my wicks on upside down. So when you grab these, I guess if you're a lamp post connoisseur, you would know this, but the smaller part is going to be down. But I didn't figure it out until I went to put my light bulbs on, and I was like, oh, those are upside down. And they go right in the center. And the bottom of them go equal or in line with the bottom of the actual lamp piece. Not all the way down, but the bottom of the lamp piece. Okay. So now we're going to put on the white glitter light bulb. And that's these two pieces here. And then we're going to put on the glass. It's upside down. I just want them to be upside down. I don't know why. Okay, now we're going to put on the, make sure I'm staying in line with what the directions say this time, right? So the clear pieces. All right, these babies are slippery. Okay, so you put them on. I'm just putting adhesive on the very, very top, and then this piece down here, the neck, if you will. That's the only place I'm putting adhesive. Otherwise, your adhesive will kind of muddy up your glass, and you don't want that. And I did have to hold it with the adhesive I'm using. I did have to hold it down for just a couple seconds to help. Now, the other thing is if you don't want to, you don't have to put adhesive on the very top. You can just put adhesive on the neck of it because it's going to be, the top's going to be covered up and held in by the gold. So you can do it that way as well. Whoops. Just trying to get away. All right, and then we're going to take the gold shimmer. All right, let me see again. I want to see which way the clear piece. Okay, the gold mirror outline is going to go first before we put the two bottom pieces on. So grab that out. Be careful when you're pulling that out. It's a delicate piece. And we're going to glue that right on top. And I got to pick this up. Okay. Right on top of the shimmer. And then the bottom gold. But everything lines up, so you know exactly where it goes. Little bit of adhesive on the top there. Whoops. My clear guy didn't want to stay on. I didn't hold him down long enough. And then the last thing we're going to do for these lamp posts all right, misbehaving. The last thing we're going to do is put these gold bands. I'm holding this down so I can't remember what they're called right now on the directions. Let's see. Horizontal strips. That's what they're called on the directions. And you've got two sets, and each set has two different sizes, and with a little bit of etching on the bigger one. The larger one's going to go at the bottom with the etching to the bottom as well, and you'll notice that it fits exactly where it's supposed to be. And then there's a smaller piece that's going to go in that etched. I'm going to put this on, and then I'm going to pick up the other one, and I'll show you a little closer. If I can get it straight. Okay, so this, I'll pick this up. So you can see there's an etching at the on the lamppost. That's where the smaller one goes. Let's do the other one, and then we'll be on to the final piece, Steamboat Willie. You can't have Main Street without Steamboat Willie. Oh, see, I've got my tweezers backwards. Where'd it go? It's on my finger. Okay. All right, there we go. So the light posts are done, or lamp posts. So let's go on to Steamboat Willie. And y'all know what Steamboat Willie looks like, but here he is. Just a few pieces left, and we will be on to letting you put together the actual pages. All right, so you got the white backer, and then the black's going to go on top of that. But before you do that, if you have his mouth piece in there, you want to take that mouthpiece, and we're going to grab this little red card, and there's a circle there. Flip the black Steamboat Willie piece over, and that red piece is going to go right there to finish off his mouth. And then we're going to flip that over, and we're going to put that on the backer. Now, I don't put much adhesive, if any at all, on the tail. You can, if you want it to stay exactly on top of that, you can definitely put a little bit of adhesive on there, but just be really, 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 really careful if you do that. So you can do that, or I just kind of take my tweezers and pop it down. But you can do either way, whichever way you would like to do it. All right, so next we're going to glue the white face and the white shorts. Be careful with his mouth there. He's got a little tiny strip to make his mouth. I'm going to turn him sideways real quick so I can line this up. All right, and then his white shorts. And make sure you're putting those on the right way because it shows his leg. He's showing a little leg there. Now we're going to do the red shorts to finish off his clothing. He's so darn cute, but he is so easy to put together. I love him. Okay, now we're going to take the dark yellow shoe bottom, and it's going to go on his, well, to the left of what we are. I mean, technically it would be his right foot, right? But it is, as we're facing it, the left one. And then we're going to finish off with his shoes. All right, y'all, I hope that this has been helpful. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments as you go, or message us. I hope this has been helpful, and let us know. If you're loving it, we're going to go on and do next month here pretty soon. So I hope you have a great time putting together your Meet Me on Main Street 2-page spread, and enjoy your day. Thanks so much.
Oh, and there's one more thing. If you've enjoyed this masterclass and our Page Kit Club and think a friend might as well, I have been given approval by Bonnie and Eric to open 4 spots for this month for new PKC members. Yes. So just grab that QR code you see on the screen and have your friend fill out the form. Annie Miller will reach out to them and give them all the great PKC details and get them signed up. Can't wait to see you next time, and hopefully your friend too. Have a good one.